As Kenny noted yesterday, he is of the mind that the people of Minneapolis are beginning to awaken to the trouble they're in. And today, the play story in the Star Tribune is the account of the police insisting that the Floyd site must be made safe. They're even calling in the FBI. It's not a sacred place. Don't give me your BS. It's lawless. It's drug infested. It's full of guns, shootings, you name it. That needs to be opened. And what we really learn is that Chief Medaria Arredondo agrees that it should be open, but we get no time frame for opening it. I don't understand why it's not open.
May I?
Yes.
My prediction, it's going to be open by the time we talk tomorrow.
Really?
They're not
Interesting.
I don't believe they're going to announce when they're coming in. I believe they're going to strike hard and fast, and by this time tomorrow, or maybe 48 hours, it's going to be open. I don't think they're going to give them time to get ready for a protest, a fight, whatever. I think they're going to go in and get it done and then set up security and not let it revert back to lawlessness. That's what I believe.
Wow.
That's a
hell of
very
prediction.
bold prediction. And I hope you're right.
It's the only thing that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
And I hope you're right, Kenny.
It would explain why the story really he never delves into anything that gives you any kind of time frame.
But he did allude to it, and he is not passive about this.
Oh, no, he
I
says
think
it will be open. Yeah.
He said some strong words without actually giving away when it's going to happen.
Let me
Well, Arredondo said law enforcement, including the FBI, will restore peace to the area using all legal resources and tools. There will be an increased police presence near the intersection, he said. As a chief, I refuse to abdicate one city block to a group of individuals who choose violence over peace. Federal law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, Minneapolis Field Office, the U.S. Attorney's Office, District of Minnesota, and the ATF of St. Paul Field Division, pledged their support and resources, standing with the chief Wednesday afternoon. Acting U.S. Attorney W. Anders Folk said the focus will be on bringing federal charges against those carrying or using firearms during robberies and carjackings or while dealing drugs. Folk said the community is gripped by fear. These are residents, these are business owners, and these are faith leaders who are simply trying to make a living, to raise their families, to build up their community, and to uphold this space that to many has become a sacred memorial. That's BS, Folk. I'm sorry you fell for that. I'm disappointed you fell for that sacred memorial nonsense. If it was a sacred memorial, it wouldn't be dangerous. And they must be able to do this in peace, he said. I think all of that lends some weight to Kenny's prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask.
I think
go ahead, Kenny.
we can only guess about what's going on behind the scenes, but I think Arredondo, since last summer, has become more, strong or more in power, or the mayor actually now, instead of trying to control the police chief, I think the mayor is looking to the chief and saying, what should we do? And when Arredondo says what we should do, I think the mayor is going along with it. I think that's just a guess because we really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But I think he's a strong, good chief. And he's finally been turned loose the way he should have been before the third burned down last summer.
But I hope you're right again. But let me ask this question: how do you accomplish this?
Easy.
Yeah, I don't see it being a problem.
Yeah.
You don't.
You bring
Okay.
in some flatbed trucks and some forklifts, and you lift those damn concrete barriers, and you put them on there, and you have a police presence that says, if you don't like this, people, it's too bad. This is a public thoroughfare, and it's time to be reopened.
Yep.
Even if you're met with resistance.
Yep.
Well, if you show up with enough law enforcement, you will win that. You will win the resistance side of this. Just imagine this, people. Let's put it this way. I'll put it into a sports context. There are, somebody double check me because I'm not going to count them.
I'm on it.
How many cities in the United States have all four major league teams? And if you want to throw in soccer, make it 5. And if you want to throw in the WNBA, make it 6. How many cities in this country have NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, and football?
13.
13. Okay. We are one of them. One of the 13 cities in the United States that has all 4 major league teams, 6 if you want to include soccer and the WNBA, has seen 2 square blocks essentially being taken over by terror, and nothing has been done about it.
Yeah. There's no debating that.
Well, yeah.
Whether that's just a different prism to view this. That we're one of the we're probably about the 15th largest media market in the country. Let's put it that way. Also, and you have a city that has allowed a public thoroughfare to become an autonomous zone of lawlessness. It's unconscionable. In Arredondo, I can't believe this about Arredondo. Arredondo didn't wake up to this yesterday.
No.
Do you think he was advised not to either comment or pursue?
I'm sure at the beginning of what we'll call it, like the Irish called it, the Troubles, let's call it the George Floyd Troubles. At the beginning, I don't think the mayor was useful. He didn't know what to do. He was complicit in allowing the 3rd precinct to become destroyed.
It's just bricks and mortar.
And I think their instincts as salon dwellers at the very beginning, their instincts were to acquiesce to people they believed to be were hurting and mournful. And they decided to not take any action that would have compelled on their part some civic responsibility. They stepped back. And slowly but surely, somebody's getting to them. Somebody is getting to the mayor that you've got to listen to your police chief. How can you have 2 square blocks essentially in the middle of the 15th largest media market in the country, one of the 13 metropolitan areas that has all 4 major league sports, and you are letting it going to ruin in this area? How can that possibly be? Arredondo did not wake up to that yesterday and decide to hold a press conference, but somehow he's been able to put his foot down. And Kenny's prediction is growing on me mightily, and I hope it's true. But that's really the only way he can do it. You can't announce it.
You know who got to the mayor, Joe? We've seen it play out in the Star Tribune. The citizens of Minneapolis got to him.
Yeah, there's more letters today about it.
And I don't think the citizens of Minneapolis should stop. When this gets cleaned up, I think we need to turn to the north side.
That's just
because
the
what's
beginning.
going on? What's going on in South? You know, you read a letter from a listener a couple of days ago. She was from the southwest side, and I had empathy for her, but I kept thinking while you were reading it, I wonder what the Reverend Christopher's thinking about this, because the north side has been, and this, I don't think this is hyperbole, a war zone for years. And it's gotten so much worse in the last summer. I think this is the citizens finally being heard.
Well, hence the 2 pieces now from, help me with the young fellow's name, Marcus Fuller?
No, not Marcus
right
Fuller.
here. No. And he said, I'm living in a graveyard.
Was it Williams?
No. And unless we have it right, let's don't even bother to say it.
I got it right here.
It's not John Denver.
Marcus Hunter III.
Hunter, that's
There you go. Yeah. It's also interesting to note, and you brought it up, Joe, if we're the 16th or 15th largest media market, the media basically has ignored this
Yes.
until the last, I don't know what, month maybe?
John, I've said on the show a number of times, including shows you were here, maybe shows you weren't, the behavior of the Star Tribune could not be more disappointing to me. They've only recently begun to look at this, and it's just a shame. The newspaper has an important role in championing their city. I'm not talking about being a homer, but they have an important role in being invested in the success of a city, the competence of a city, the laws being followed in a city. They have done a lousy job covering 38th in Chicago, a dreadful job. And they've got the manpower. They're lucky. They're owned by a guy, Glenn Taylor, who has money, and they still have a pretty functioning newsroom and a healthy number of reporters, and there's no excuse for the way the media has handled it. And you can say that about all the television stations, too.
So you're saying if Royce showed up for work, they wouldn't instruct him, yeah, we moved about 6 blocks that way down the street.
Well, that only happened to me. We're not here anymore. I was told.
we moved, did we?
He said, well, you can't go up there. I said, why? He said, well, they're not there.
Right.
I said, what do you mean? Well, he said, they moved.
They moved to Iowa.
Right.
Lost is a dictionary I've owned since 1969, my American Heritage Dictionary. It was left on my desk, and God only knows where it is.
Oh, they didn't take it with them when they moved?
I don't think they had any responsibility to clean up after those of us who were working at home. Where were we?
Oh, the responsibility of the newspaper to cover the story.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's been
and the
terribly
citizens.
disappointing. Terribly disappointing. Wake up, Minneapolis, and when this is over, you really need a different mayor and you need a different council. Even as the adjoining play story in the Star
Yeah,
Tribune.
yeah.
It's not enough to get rid of the police. We have new activism that is
Right.
suggesting that the only people who will be in charge of the police are some elected civilians to sit on a review board.
Yep.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
get her done.
I'm sure that's going to work.
Oh,
great.
yeah.
And then to
But-
be on that board, these stories were too long for me to trim. To be on that board, you have to be of a certain political group. You have to be, where is it?
Well, it says right in the headline, Joe, and I thought the headline was kind of a slap in the face. The headline reads, "Activists want civilians, not city, to oversee Minneapolis police." I mean, they make it pretty clear that this isn't coming from the everyday blue-collar citizens of Minneapolis. This is coming from activists.
I actually have audio of the
did you,
first candidate, John.
The police chief's role is to be able to have a vision of what it means for us to have a strong focus
Yep.
on what should police be focusing on.
There we go.
He's been groin kicked, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, many times.
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
Yes,
many
yes.
times.
okay. The group's proposal would amend the city charter to create a new civilian police accountability commission that would develop rules and regulations for the police department, investigate complaints and use of force incidents, analyze patterns of police behavior, and suggest policy changes. The commission would have the power over the establishment, maintenance, and command of the police department and the authority to discipline police, including the chief. The commission would have 13 elected members who must have at least 2 years of experience protecting civil rights or be a survivor of police misconduct or a relative of someone killed by police. Martinez, the lead activist in this deal, said they are updating the proposal to exclude people who work in law enforcement. And that, well, where's the money part of this? Some details of the commissioner's job, such as whether they would be full-time or part-time, and salary rates would be established in separate ordinances. Oh, God. They're just, it's just, they're creating a means by which they will redistribute more of the taxpayer money for this new, dreamed up out of whole cloth commission that will pretend it knows what it's doing.
But here's the reason why I think this will completely fail, because Martinez doesn't like what the city council has done and doesn't like what the mayor has done. So
It's not been enough.
Right. So she's taking, or he, excuse me, is it a he or she?
It's
I'm
a
sorry.
he, I believe.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's taking on both the council and the mayor, and this is going to go nowhere. This was a waste of ink.
Well, let's be factual here. The activist who seems to be spearheading this is, what the hell's his name?
Hold on, I'm scanning. Michelle Gross, no. Philippe, no.
Sam Martinez.
There
Sam.
it is. Yep.
Sam Martinez, organizer. And he says whatever's been discussed by the city council doesn't fix anything, doesn't do anything.
Yep.
Do you have the part of where you submitted an application?
No,
Oh,
it's a separate ordinance.
oh, okay, got it.